Tonight, a moment in history. King Charles III crowned alongside Queen Camilla in a coronation fit for a modern monarch. A royal spectacle not seen for 70 years, marked by millions with celebrations in the streets and the sky. From the country to the capital, monarchists here welcome the new royal era. Sydney shivers as the first big snowfalls hit our ranges. Help on the way to pay your power bill. $500 pledge for Sydney households. Last 5 straight losses for the Dragons leaves Anthony Griffin fighting to see out the season.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. London is now waking up, a little worn out from a night celebrating the coronation, but with a fresh chapter added to its rich history. Glad, no doubt, the crowning of the King and Queen went with barely a hitch. Many sure to be reliving day-old memories of royal ritual and the pageantry of the parade. Nine's Euro correspondent Brett McLeod begins our coverage.
The final touch in the making of a monarch. The crown fitted carefully until it's sitting firmly. Charles solemn under the weight of the moment, 74 years in the making.
God save the King!
2 hours of ceremony, a tradition dating back 1,000 years, updated for the modern monarch. The day began with a cavalcade of guests, 8 British Prime Ministers, 90 heads of state, leaders of the Commonwealth, Australia represented by soccer star Sam Kerr carrying our flag, guiding Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his partner Jodie Hayden. Julie Bishop also invited, along with Nick Cave, pop stars Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, British film and TV legends Maggie Smith, Judi Dench, Joanna Lumley. 2,200 guests in total. A small list compared to the 8,000 at his mother Elizabeth's coronation in 1953, part of his wishes for a pared-back ceremony. At the palace, the first glimpse of the King and Queen, footmen guiding them to their state coach built in Australia. Then to the cries of the Sergeant Majors. Charles and Camilla, their carriage pulled by 6 Windsor Greys, left for Westminster Abbey. Under dreary skies, an upbeat procession. The mall draped in flags, lined with crowds. Just a taste of what was to come. The Prince and Princess of Wales, all systems go as they left for the Abbey, as other members of the royal family made their way in. Prince Edward, Andrew, allowed to wear his military uniform, Prince Harry, there without wife Meghan or his children, arriving with cousins Eugenie and Beatrice. The Duke smiling and chatting despite his high profile falling out with his family. The Princess Royal Anne wearing the robes symbolising Scotland's Order of the Thistle, pausing to greet her nephew. His new position within the royal ranks made clear as he was seated a few rows back. Across the aisle, Prince Frederick and her own Princess Mary of Denmark. The ornaments of office, the crown jewels, brought down the grand aisle as the man of the moment arrived. Prince George, one of the page boys, had his grandfather's back. William and Kate, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis taking their places. Kate resplendent in a break from the traditional tiara, wearing an Alexander McQueen silver headpiece. Camilla walking in first, a gown embroidered with the names of her children, followed closely by Charles, taking it all in. As he moves step by step through the Abbey, where coronations have been held for more than 900 years.
I come not to be served, but to serve.
Following a format which originated in the 10th century, this is at its heart a religious service, beginning with an affirmation from the congregation.
God save King Charles!
One of the few legal requirements, his signature, as he pledged to lead the Church of England as defender of the faith. For the first time, there were prominent roles for other religions.
Will seek to foster an environment in which peoples of all faiths and beliefs may live freely.
The chief rabbi in a service where Jews were once banned. Clerics of Islam, Buddhism, leaders of the Sikhs and the spectrum of Christianity. And a reading from the Bible by Britain's first Hindu Prime Minister.
And by him all things consist. This is the word of the Lord.
Among 11 specially commissioned musical pieces, the chorus of a gospel choir. Another break from tradition, a sermon, with a message directed straight to Charles.
The weight of the task given today, Your Majesties, is only bearable by the Spirit of God.
Almost an hour in, Prince Louis looked a little restless on the pews, but there was no way out for the young prince. As the only part of the service took place away from public view, so sacred it's done in private. The king disrobed, to be anointed in oil from Jerusalem. Then dressed in a golden mantle for the final stages of his crowning. Over the sound of a chant in Greek for his late father Philip, the king received ceremonial swords from a female sword bearer for the first time in history. Then outfitted in the manner of a king.
The robe royal is now brought. It is supposed to represent the four corners of the world.
The regalia of monarchy, the orb, the glove of gentleness, and the sceptre of mercy. And finally, weighing more than 2 kilos, St Edward's crown.
God save the King! God save the King!
Charles then moved to his throne. Symbolically, this is the moment he takes possession of his kingdom. William, the Prince of Wales, as heir, swore his loyalty to father and king.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you, as your liege man of life and limb. So help me God.
A kiss on the cheek for the visibly emotional Charles, and a thank you. Before the congregation and those watching elsewhere were invited to take part in the people's homage.
God save the King! God save King Charles!
Then it was Camilla's turn, receiving her crown, with more adjustments in the process.
She may be crowned with thy gracious favour, through Jesus Christ our Lord.
In contrast to the sombre Charles, a beaming smile. Upbeat on the throne, Charles' once maligned mistress, turned wife of 18 years, who slowly won over the British public, now their queen. And this was as close as the king's sons got to each other, Harry seen occasionally glancing across to William. And finally, after a 2-hour service, it was over. Bells sounding as he emerged from the Abbey. Charles, the oldest person to become British monarch, looking tired, but perhaps relieved this moment had finally come.
Well, this is an image which would have seemed unlikely, if not impossible, years ago, but here they are, Charles and Camilla, side by side, the newly crowned King and Queen.
Today was the day the young prince, at the last coronation, achieved his destiny. In London, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
There were 2 main parts to this big royal event: the service, then